We open our short-lived showdown between Mr. C Nation and Mr. Apple Muncher on the October 7, 2004 episode of SmackDown. The new United States Champion John Cena is still in his word life phase, and he out here repping the Red Sox as he returns to his hometown of Boston, and he has some stuff he wants to get off his chest. Cena says the champ is home, and damn, life is pretty good right now, because the Red Sox are in the playoffs, Patriots keep winning. That statement didn't age very well. John has just come off of his best of 5 series with Booker T for the United States Championship, and he gives his respect to Booker before he gets back to making fun of Michael Cole.
Look at you, man. When you was born, a doctor done slapped your mama.
That's nice.
This fool sucks so much you're like a human vacuum. I wonder what you're thinking right now. I wonder if Cena has the right stuff under those boxers.
John then decides to try and bring someone out to make fun of Michael Cole, which is hilarious, where we then hear the Apple Crunch and Carlito Caribbean Cool makes his way down to the ring to interrupt Cena's homecoming. Carlito says John winning the championship,
That's cool.
but then insults the Red Sox because they can't win anything. Carlito then says he was looking for the coolest guy on SmackDown, and Carlito doesn't think Cena's cool and calls him a punk.
And Carlito spits in the face. People don't want to be cool.
Cena calls him some sort of baseball thing, but in case you're deaf, you in the wrong part of town, homie. Cena says,
If you bite that apple, oh no, you ain't gonna spit. I'm gonna make you swallow.
Carlito says it took Cena 5 matches to win the US title, and he says Carlito can do it in one night. Cena then grants him his debut match tonight on SmackDown for the United States Championship, and then he disrobes before Carlito says not right now, because you can't ruin Carlito's drip. Carlito then offers a handshake where Cena then does the "you can't see me" taunt, and then Carlito DDTs Cena onto the belt, and then takes a big old munch of the apple and then spits it on Cena's corpse. Later that night, in the main event, might I mention, we see Carlito come out in probably my favorite gear he's ever had. Good thing Cena let him change. John Cena is absolutely seething, walking towards the ring, puts his chain on the ring post, and then tries to run after Carlito, and then after a small chase, Cena gets his hands on him. Carlito escapes again, and then Cena just decks Carlito with a running lariat. Cena finds a blow-up hand at ringside and does his taunt as Carlito is laid out. John holds Carlito in the air with the stalling suplex for almost 15 seconds before Carlito kicks out of the pinfall. Carlito runs off the ropes and then gets a back body drop and a little side shimmy leg drop for the 2 count. They take their fight to the outside, where then John tosses Carlito into the stairs and starts showboating. Sometime after that, Carlito gets his pile driver countered into a slingshot over the barricade as Cena wipes his hands clean for the commercials. Cena gets a boot out of the corner and goes for the middle rope crossbody, but Carlito's able to evade and he crashes to the mat. Carlito follows up Cena's fuck up with a neckbreaker for a count of 2. Carlito gets pissed and starts hammering on Cena. After the double down, Cena hits some clotheslines followed up by a shoulder tackle for the kick out. Cena follows up with the rebound bulldog right by the afro. Cena readies up the right hand and delivers the 5-knuckle shuffle, where Carlito then kicks out at 2 again. Cena starts pumping up the tongues for the FU, but Carlito grabs the ropes and then lands on the apron, but this causes him to get punched off the apron and flies into the steps. Carlito grabs the US Championship, but then gets cracked by Cena where he tries to use it. Cena picks up his belt and Brian Hebner tries to take the gold back from him. Meanwhile, Carlito grabs John Cena's chain off the ring post that he brought in, and he clings John Cena in the head with it while the ref's back was turned. And Carlito secures the pinfall victory and wins the United States Championship in his WWE debut. This crowd is absolutely dead at this reaction, which you would think would be a more shocking moment, but these fans are literally so steady that not even storm waves could knock them into a better reaction. I might have missed it on the last episode, but on the next episode of SmackDown, we would see Carlito defeat Rico with the overdrive. After the match, Carlito would put on the chain that he hit Cena with and walk out victorious. Taz and Cole mentioned that last week, Cena was attacked in a melee in a nightclub in Boston, and apparently he has suffered puncture wounds to the kidney.
In other words, basically he was stabbed.
Huh? I love how they just casually mentioned this as a storyline thing, and I cannot find any footage of any of this. So, you can also then send your best wishes to John Cena on WWE.com though, so I hope he recovers. Breaking kayfabe, John Cena was actually shooting the first Marine movie, so if anyone was curious as to why he was off TV, that's why. Next week on SmackDown, Josh Matthews conducts another interview with Carlito and a big-ass dude in some banana pants. Josh asks the rumor that Carlito calms down his associate, whose name is Jesus. Carlito then continues the interview with Jesus' assistants and asks the same question as before. Carlito says that rumors aren't cool. And he says that he was in the club that night, but he says that he didn't see anything about Cena getting stabbed. Carlito calls Cena a thug and says that thugs aren't cool. And he says that Josh isn't cool either. And he says, you know what he does to people who aren't cool? Next episode of The Rock Show, and Kurt Angle, Luther Reigns, and Mark Jindrak are storming into the locker room. Everyone notices Carlito just vibing, eating an apple with Jesus with literally nobody in the room, and he definitely heard their entire conversation. Kurt then says that they have an opening on their team for Survivor Series and says that Carlito Caribbean Cool on the team is pretty cool. Carlito says, and then Kurt then offers the opportunity again, and Carlito then takes a bite and accepts as he shakes Angle's hand. Carlito gets to his first pay-per-view match as we head to Survivor Series in a traditional Survivor Series elimination match. The teams consist of Kurt Angle, Mark Jindrak, Luther Reigns, and Carlito with Jesus in their corner. The other team consists of The Big Show with a messed up hoof, Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, and making his return from kidney evisceration, John Cena. John Cena immediately starts firing away on Jesus before the match can even begin as both men start fighting through the arena. John just keeps tossing Jesus into a bunch of random environmental attacks, and then Cena no-sells a trash can throw and lays Jesus out. Jesus snubs Cena in the parking lot from behind, and then Carlito retreats into a random car, literally carjacking two random people, and then Jesus just hops into the car, and the boys escape as he then heads back to the ring. The match is then won by Team Guerrero after Rob Van Dam would stop Kurt Angle from running away, and Angle would get hit with the FU, the Frog Splash, and the pinfall from The Big Show. John Cena opens our next episode of SmackDown with a promo where Mr. Word Life says that the champ is back. Cena also says that he's going to win back the United States Championship tonight. Cena says Carlito has swag and mentions him sneaking away with the belt and barely mentions anything about being stabbed. You would think for a man who got stabbed and wants his wrestling title back, he'd talk about it more in detail or something, but I don't know, missed opportunity.
Carlito's been ducking me, but now there's nowhere else to go, boy. I'm about to put a whipping on the Pillsbury Fro, boy.
Cheese.
The way he walks, the way he talks, spitting out his fruit and vegetables. I kicked you so hard, you be choking on your testicles. Balls.
Teddy Long gets his phone call interrupted by Carlito, who is wearing a cast. Carlito says that he suffered an injury at the hands of Cena at Survivor Series, and he will have to postpone the match for 4 to 6 weeks. Teddy calls bullshit and says that the match is still on. Carlito pulls out a doctor's note and says that he even has x-rays, and Teddy says that he has already talked to Carlito's doctors, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
If I'm going to allow John Cena to compete here tonight after 6 weeks of having one of his kidneys down,
Teddy then says that Carlito can't get out of it because he will strip him of the belt if he doesn't compete. Carlito then takes a bite of his apple, and then Teddy Long says, I fucking dare you, and then Carlito stomps off in anger. We get to our match finally, and Carlito is rocking some body tape and a green apple this time, and it looks like Jesus wanted to be color-coded, with the apple I meant. Cena de-hats and throws off the knuckles as he runs into the ring and makes short work of Jesus. Cena starts whooping Carlito's ass on the outside as he tosses him into the barricade and throws some haymakers against the barricade before the match can even begin. Jesus misses a chair shot and then gets his ass smacked down, where Cena then picks up the chair and whacks it against Carlito's shoulder. Cena rolls Carlito into the ring and the match officially begins. Cena takes a bite of the apple, does the "you can't see me" taunt, and then spits the apple into Carlito's face, drops his ass with the FU, and then pins Carlito 1, 2, 3 to become the new United States Champion. John Cena goes over to the corner to retrieve his chain, where Jesus then spawns out of nowhere and bodies Cena into the corner. Jesus takes some shots at Cena with the chain to the kidney area, and then Jesus comes to Carlito's aid and puts the chain back on Carlito as he helps him to the back. John Cena is laid out dead in the ring as Taz tells someone to get a doctor. Finally, on another episode of SmackDown, and Jesus and Carlito out here looking like a tropical rock band as Michael Cole interviews them from ringside. Carlito says that he has no patience for uncool people, and he blames John Cena for his own attack. Carlito then says,
You stop bleeding for a second and listen to what I have to say. You see, my socio, Jesus, he took care of you, John Cena.
Carlito says that you may have taken his United States Championship, but they still have Cena's chain. Carlito says it felt like Cena got hit by a drive-by, which he should be familiar with. Carlito then gifts the chain to Jesus, and Jesus starts looking fly. Jesus delivers an astoundingly ass promo.
You claim to be some street thug, John Cena? Well, I'm a thug too. Huh? I can play by street rules too. I think I proved to the entire locker room just what happens. Lay your hands on my compadre, Carlito.
I wish I could play this in its entirety, but he says that he just got his wrestling license, and he says,
So we can do this in the street, in the locker room, in the ring, in the club, in the alley. It doesn't matter. Wherever you want, John Cena, I'll be there.
Jesus then says payback is a bitch, and then Carlito spits on the camera lens, which I thought was pretty fucking dope. Next week on SmackDown, and Jesus gets to use his wrestling license for the first time against Charlie Haas, and Jesus is rocking the Santa pants. Carlito takes the mic and he wants to say a little something. Carlito says Haas is hogging up all the women, and he says,
That's not cool.
Carlito says Miss Jackie needs to be with someone who is cool, but as Haas tries to attack, Jesus starts kicking his face in. Jesus picks up his chain and clocks Charlie Haas in the kidney, and Haas is writhing on the ground in pain, and I guess he's not having a match tonight. Teddy Long then comes storming down from production, and he is furious with Carlito and Jesus as he calls them thugs. Teddy, you used to be in Thuggin' and Buggin' Enterprises, man, what the hell? Teddy then sets up a match for Jesus at Armageddon in a street fight. Carlito assumes that Charlie Haas will be his opponent, but he says that John Cena will be Jesus' opponent instead. Jesus will now finally get to use his wrestling license, rocking some Karen curtains as pants as he is set to face Charlie Haas formally. Charles Robinson tells Carlito that he has to leave ringside, and then Carlito takes a bite of the apple and spits it in Lil Nate's face. Jesus puts his chain on the ring post as Charlie starts marching towards the ring and lays the assault on Jesus in the corner. I then learn that this match is Falls Count Anywhere street fight as well, as Haas then grabs a chair and smacks Jesus in the corner. Carlito gets on the mic and says that he has something that belongs to Charlie. Carlito comes out with Dawn Marie in his arms, and Jesus clocks him with the chain in the back of the head. Charles checks on Haas, and Jesus has won this match by knockout. Dawn Marie and Jackie Gaeta then both run out to save their man. We conclude this video with our final fight of the evening. Tony Chimmel says that this will be a street fight for the United States Championship with Falls Count Anywhere. John Cena makes his return with the Ruck Fools t-shirt and the decked out custom US Championship. Controversially, I think that belt is sick as hell. Goated fucking arena, by the way, with all the fire coming off of the A. I used to love playing that arena in SVR 06. Sorry, off track, but Jesus comes out here looking like another banana, and I guess because Carlito likes apples and he has an opportunity for the United States title up for grabs. Carlito on the apron spits the apple at Cena, where then Cena starts firing away on Jesus in the corner for a long fucking while before he gets the crowd fired up and boot kicks Jesus in the ribs. Carlito equips a kendo stick and tosses it to Jesus and gives Cena a kidney shot. Cena tackles him against the ropes, grabs the stick, and whacks Jesus right in the noggin with it. Cena lights up Jesus with the kendo stick until it is literally destroyed in his hand. Cena did not like this dude. Cena starts opening Jesus up the hard way, and I can tell because he is definitely not bleeding before Cena punched him. Cena takes off his shirt to scare Carlito away from ringside. Cena boots Jesus over the barricade, and you can see that Jesus has been opened up like a stuffed pig. Cena and Jesus start fighting into the crowd, and the ref has to check on Jesus, but John just starts choking him with a wire off screen. Jesus throws down a trash can, Cena blocks a chair throw, and then just tosses another trash can at him. Cena and Jesus quite literally start fighting into the stands, and Cena is just dragging Jesus by his shirt up the stairs. Cena looks to toss Jesus over the railing, but Carlito V-clips and saves his associate. Cena makes Carlito shit his pants and he tosses Jesus at him, but this just causes another chase scene. Cena fails to put a trash can on Jesus trying to escape, but then Cena just starts chopping his titties on the barricade. Carlito and Jesus try to jump Cena, but Cena just isn't phased tonight and he just fights them both off. The fight goes back ringside, where Cena then jumps off the barricade and hits a bulldog, which I thought was an awesome little move. Cena starts looking for weapons and grabs a trash can lid and a street sign. Cena bangs Jesus with the trash lid and then whacks him with like a nail with the street sign. Cena starts pumping it up, delivers the taunt, and hesitates for a second before he gives Carlito the taunt and then drops Jesus with the FU. After the match, Carlito tries to take the chain off the ring post, but Cena shows mercy and grabs the chain back. Carlito continues to beg, but he grabs him by the fro and knocks him out with the chain. And this was the conclusion to the storyline where John Cena got fucking stabbed.